Hi, it's Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to our next episode in our optimization strategy. This will be episode number 5, which we are going to talk about marketing, which we could probably spend the next 2 years talking about. But for the sake of time, I'm going to keep it very high level. And really my goal here today is to really have you pique your interest, maybe look at what you're doing, maybe do something different, maybe do something period, right? And start of that. So before we do that though, let's kind of have a quick recap on what the principles of optimization really are. My core belief and my core experience of nearly 30 years of coaching advisors is I've never have seen a practice that cannot be optimized on various different levels. And what is optimization? Maximum profitability, maximum effectiveness, highest and best use of time, energy, focus, money, energy, effort, things like that. And if you approach your business from a optimization standpoint, man, the sky's the limit, and that's what I found in my career. So just as a quick recap, there are 4 main domains of optimization, which is number 1, self, i.e. you, optimizing how you operate as a human being, an advisor, a leader, a coach, so on and so forth. Domain number 2, which is your team, how to level them up, move them up to the next level, then your business moves up. The third is how to optimize your clients, and there's a whole plethora of strategies. Go check out that episode. And domain number 4, which we've broken up into 3 subcategories, is branding, marketing, and biz dev. So today we're going to cover the marketing. So what is marketing? I want you to think of marketing as messaging. All right, let's keep it simple here. And like I said, I'm not an expert, but I deal with experts. So my goal here is to maybe persuade you, motivate you, inspire you to go find an expert and go get your marketing game right. So marketing is about messaging. So where we talk about branding is like storefront, profile, stuff like that. Now messaging is about what we send outbound, okay? Now outbound takes a couple of different concepts, right? There's social media, right? So we'll talk about LinkedIn and Facebook, and if you're doing Twitter and stuff like that. And there's ideally going to be email. Yes, I said email. Email is not dead. In fact, I'll make the comment that email can be, and maybe in a lot of cases should be, your best friend. Okay, now, what are we looking for? So you have to know, first off, if I'm going to do messaging, let's talk about authentic versus canned content, okay? Because I think that's the first place we have to start. I will tell you that canned content is the easy button. It does not mean it's going to be effective. It just means you're pushing stuff out there on LinkedIn, Facebook, or wherever else you're pushing it, right? From that perspective. So I'm not a really big fan of that, except for one shift. And I've got several clients that do this. I think it's a strong strategy. It's an email strategy, and I'll share with you. So I love it when my clients once per week, will send out to their entire list, clients, prospects, COIs, a very short email. It could say like here are my weekly reads for what I've read this week. Here's what inspired me, and what it is basically curated content. So maybe it's a link to an article, maybe a YouTube video, like 3 or 5 things, nothing heavy duty. And it goes out and it totally value add, and that will get you a lot of thanks and kudos, and it keeps you in front of the clients. We're not pitching product, we're looking to add value. So here's the one thing I want you to always think about when it comes to your marketing. Is this going to add value to my target audience, or is this just a bunch of noise? Okay? You do not want to be in the noise game. I see it all the time on my LinkedIn feed, canned content, boring, nobody's going to read it, nobody cares. And here's the other thing you've got to remember about, and I'm not saying not to do stuff on LinkedIn and Facebook, so don't misread what I'm saying here, but hear me out. This is the last data I had. The average user on LinkedIn and Facebook, if they're on a mobile app and they're scrolling, know what the thumbnail thing, the scroll thing, right? Is that they will scroll, if they're a pretty decent user between both apps, they will scroll 180 feet per day. 180 feet. That is about scrolling the Statue of Liberty. You have about 3 seconds in something there to capture their attention, or they're on to the next thing. So, if that's the case, then while social's kind of nice, it's here today and not even gone tomorrow. It's gone like in 2 minutes, right? That's why I'm saying to you, email is still your friend. It can reside in the inbox for a very long time, okay? So you keep that in mind. So what kind of messaging are we putting out? So the first thing, again, 3 different target markets, right? So let's just break this down from our branding episode. I've got professionals and business owners, entrepreneurs. I've got executives, pre-retiree rollover, and I got retiree. Okay, there's other but let's just kind of keep it simple. Let me ask you a question. Are the pain points of all 3 of those markets the same, yes or no? The answer is no. Why? What's the pain point for a business owner? Cash flow, taxes. Not if they're successful. That's their jam, right? So if you're talking about retirement income and a business owner's they don't care about that. They're trying to minimize their tax now. They're trying to maximize their cash flow now. They're trying to retain, especially in this environment, they're trying to retain key employees now. Retirement, we can't even think about that, right? Let's talk about our executive market, our pre-retirees, right? What do they think about? Can I retire? When can I retire? What kind of retirement am I going to have, right? So again, different pain points. Third, already retired. What is their pain point? Not running out of money, not being taken advantage of, right? Making sure that they're not going to be a burden for their children, and so on and so on. So if you're trying to message, that's why I'm saying on the last episode, you got to declare who you're after, who your avatar is, who's your ideal client, what market you're going to go after. Because your messaging has got to match that market. Okay, it just has to. Because if it doesn't, it's not going to work. It's just noise. It's not going to do anything for you. Okay? So now, if you're going to sit there and say, well, Joe, I deal with 2 markets or maybe 2, 3, then have 3 separate lists for those markets. Very simple, right? Don't send business owners retirement income planning, right? Conversely, don't send retirees how to optimize your cash flow and retain key employees. Not going to matter, right? So you want to make sure that you're messaging to your right market. So number 1, you have to understand what is my target market's pain point. And then I must go ahead and talk around that. Now, modalities, marketing modalities. There are 3 basic modalities. There's video, audio, and then we'll call the written word. Okay, I guess you can say image like photos, but let's just kind of keep it simple, right? Now, I will tell you, if there's a way for you to do video, do it. It's a pain in the butt. You probably have to go through compliance. I understand all that. But remember something. Like I said last week, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, what's a 2-minute video worth? Right? I could literally dictate this into an MP3, give it to some person on Upwork, and get them to write me a blog post. Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. I don't need to make sure my hair is right and that I look halfway decent, right, or anything like that. I could just record it, and it wouldn't even go out to anybody, right? I just haven't. But video is always going to be the best communication medium. Now, if you go back and it's not a challenge, like an invitation. So if you go to my YouTube channel, and if you search by date, you will find my very, very, very first video there. And every time I say I want to take it down. Why? Because it's horrible. It sucks. It is the proverbial hostage video. But you know why I leave it there? Because after 1,500 of these, whatever the count is, I think I've gotten pretty good at it. Point being is this. You're going to suck at this in the beginning. You get through the sucky part. Then you become an amateur. Then you become a pro. That is the rite of passage in all video marketing. Okay? Authentic will always be highly produced, right? I don't really, shockingly, I think you know this already, I don't work with a script. I may have some bullet points I want to deal with, something I may want to outline, so on and so forth, but primarily I do not sit there and have this thing. Now, for some, you may need to do that from a compliance standpoint. Just try to make it not like you're not reading like a demand letter, okay? Very important. So marketing ideally is video-based. Podcasting is great. Here's the thing about podcast. If you're going to commit to one, you have to commit to it long term. What's a long term? At least a year, if not 2 or 3. Most marketing, and this is why branding, marketing, biz dev is different. Marketing results are measured in quarters at minimum, okay? What most advisors do is they kind of do something for a bit, that it doesn't meet their need for immediate gratification, right? And then they move on to the next shiny object that happens to present itself, right? Turnkey internet leads, or whatever the latest greatest craze is. We'll talk about them in a future episode. Here's the bottom line. Marketing is about building a relationship with your client before they become a client. That is the way modern marketing works, okay? It is not just about giving information. It's about telling stories. Nobody needs to know what the latest economic forecast is. It's not relatable to them. You want to talk to me about the best thing you did for your client in the last 30 days? I'm all ears on that, right? You want to talk about how you're sitting down with your client and going over the risk tolerances? Talk to me about that. Talk to me about how you're updating asset allocations. Talk to me about the last client educational event you did. I'm all ears for that. That's human interest, human nature, right? Every one of my clients who does marketing will tell you that human interest pieces will always outshine informational pieces. New team member, child going off to college for the very first time being an empty nester, things like that, right? Very, very valuable. So you want to think, and look, work in your domain that you're most comfortable first. So if you're like, oh man, the video thing not going to work, do a podcast. Well, I don't know about that. Write a blog. If you're a better writer, then write. If you're better auditorily, then orate. What's that? Is there a word for that? Yeah, sure there is. And then video, shoot, right? And look, I'm on an iMac here in my office with some lighting, with a decent mic, hopefully, right? Your best friend, in fact, I don't have it in front of me, your phone, your mobile device, that's your studio. Don't overthink it. And I've accessed experts. If you need help in video production and how to do that, I've got experts I can refer you to. Again, I'm happy to just pass that along. So reach out if you need it. You need podcasts, I've got experts there. You need help in writing, I've got experts there. I deploy experts with my clients all the time. I'm not the best at everything, but I'm very good at orchestrating what needs to get done. So what else about marketing? So let's look at a couple channels, right? Remember I said email's not dead. Let me explain why I said that. The social media people will tell you it's dead because it's in their interest to do so. But guess what? My inbox is still full. So email does matter. You need to be publishing, next question you're going to ask is how often? I really think email-wise, a minimum is once per week. I can make the argument two per week. That's not a lot. while you're doing your social media and everything else that you're posting, stuff like that, which we'll talk about that in a second. Love Snappy Kraken as one of my clients. They do a great job. We have a joint venture with them. So they do dynamite with content and delivery. So I'll check them out if you're not currently using them. If you're going to do podcasting, Proudmouth is our go-to podcasting company, our partner there. Matt and Kirk do a wonderful job. You could definitely go check that out. And then video, we have Idea Decanter. They do a great job at helping you kind of do video and pieces like that. So I decided, don't call me, just hear their names, Google them, tell them I sent you, and you'll thank me later. Okay. Now, as far as social, let's talk about LinkedIn and Facebook for a bit. This is important. Most advisors think by posting stuff on LinkedIn, especially pre-canned stuff, oh, I got a good LinkedIn game. No, you don't. It's gone in 30 seconds. One of my strategic partners, Charlie Van Derven, social advisors, you should check him out. Rockstar LinkedIn Games. I'm a client. Will tell you that the game on LinkedIn is messaging, not what you post. It's about how you connect with people. Remember, when you connect with somebody, you can now get the opportunity to communicate with them. See, the connection, that's every so often, oh yeah, I got 5,000 connections on LinkedIn. So what? If you're not messaging them, if you're not inviting them to talk to you, if you're not providing value to them, and I don't mean posting stuff, I mean sending them stuff. Yes, the message app. The message portion of LinkedIn is the most powerful piece there that is underutilized in marketing for most advisors. Same thing with Facebook. Post something up there, it's gone in 30 seconds. Never, and nobody's going to go looking for it. All right? If you want, and some of you can't do this, and I understand that. And I know I'm being a little random today, but there's a method to why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I was listening to a podcast, and it was I Love Marketing, which I happen to love that podcast. And they had Evan Carmichael. Now, you don't know who he is, but he's one of the most popular YouTube channels out there. And he told me the science behind YouTube and the YouTube channel. So here's what I'm going to say to y'all. If you can have your own YouTube channel, do it. Why? Search. It's like a podcast. It's there forever. The difference when you post content on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so on and so forth, it's gone. It has no legs. You can go search the first video I did, which was I think 12 years ago now. On LinkedIn, it's there. On YouTube, it's there. So if you want your content to live forever and help with your search and everything like that, please create a YouTube channel. And you can post videos, you can post audios up there. It doesn't have to be video. You can do audio with the graphic, but that is critical. Okay. And then the last thing I'll say, and like I said, we can spend hours doing this, but I want to. My goal here is to inspire you and hopefully point some of your blind spots out. The difference between an advisor who's going to be really, really successful economically, we're not talking about how well you serve your clients, how bright you are. We're just talking about like growth, okay? Those advisors who have a grasp and understand how to execute modern marketing are going to have a profound competitive advantage versus those that don't. It's just that simple. It's not that complex, right? Now, when I say that, there's a major caveat, okay? It does not take the place of next week's episode when we're going to talk about biz dev, the ground game. Because, if you have a killer YouTube channel and you're a rock star on a podcast, but you're just like, hey man, I'm not getting clients because you're gaining attention, right? But you're not attracting. And let me just say this real quick, and then we're going to bounce out of here. I see this way too often, even with my clients, and I send it back to them and I scold them, and at least a note, if not a video. Everything you put out, video, podcast, audio, message, post, better have a call to action, which is, if I like this, what do you want me to do? Do not expect them to figure it out on themselves. Like, should I go to the website? If you listen to last week, that if you don't have the let's talk, who cares, right? Every piece you put out must have a very clear call to action. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to go to your website and schedule up a conversation? Do you want them to subscribe to your newsletter list? Do you want them to send this forward this to your friends and family, help spread the word? Ask. Most advisors, when they do content, fail to ask for an action, and it's a terrible mistake, and that costs you opportunity every week. Okay? So marketing is about what? Capture attention, add value, call to action. Capture attention, add value, call to action. Capture attention. If you don't get their attention, it doesn't matter. If you don't add value, why should they care? Capture attention, add value, call to action. Okay? Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, next week, we're going to get down into the trenches, man. Ground game, biz dev. That's where the money is. All right? So have a great week. Enjoy. This should be getting released around Labor Day weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. I'll see you after the holiday for our last episode of this series. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.